Hello, my name is Iris Ramirez, and today I'll be sharing 3 stories of student memories that I have that really impacted me. The first one was in first grade. I was taking ESL classes because my English wasn't the best, and I usually got pulled out of class just to go to these ESL language courses. And I used to go with another student named Ramon that also didn't speak English very well, and we got sent back after the ESL course, and I noticed that there was a pod going on in which they adjourned all the first grade classrooms together, like in a big like hallway, and all the teachers also adjourn, and they teach the entire first grade community. And me and Ramon didn't really want to go because to be fair, our English wasn't the best, so it wasn't very stimulating to us, like when it came to learning. So we were just kind of hiding and watching like the whole pod from afar. But then this teacher caught us, and she told my first grade teacher, and I remember she pulled me aside and she started yelling at me. And like, even being young then, like, I can still remember I felt embarrassment because the class was kind of hearing in on what she was saying, and I also felt just really guilty and really bad for what I had done. And I think this teacher, though, she did go a little too far because she pulled my hair. And at the time, I couldn't really defend myself because I was only 6 years old. So I felt like it was my fault and she was in the right for doing that. But looking back at that now, like, that was really uncalled for her to pull my hair. And I would say that this inspires me as a teacher to always try to de-escalate the situation, especially since, like, the student itself, like, if they're not even really trying to misbehave, like they're just off task or distracted, I don't really think there's any need to humiliate that child, especially in front of their peers. And so I definitely want to start de-escalating situations in my classroom. I think a big challenge would be, though, that I still don't want to be their friend. I want to be a teacher, so I don't want to get taken advantage of if I decide I want to make things more relaxed, but then the students see it as a way to, like, get out of work, for example, or use their phones. I want students to not fear me. I don't ever want to use my anger on them, and I just want them to feel safe when they're coming towards me, and that they can really tell me anything. They don't need to hide. For my second story, this one happened in 3rd grade. I remember her name. It was Mrs. Lane, and basically what happened was the night before, my father had got arrested, and I had to go to school the next morning, and I was very shooken up by it. And I noticed that the teacher called me out outside the classroom, just me and her. I guess she realized that I wasn't acting my normal self, and the minute she asked what was wrong, I busted into tears. I just couldn't hold my emotions in anymore, and I was just crying a lot, and she gave me a lot of support, even hugged me, asked me if I wanted to call my mom, and she told me everything was going to be all right. And this is a very memorable time for me because I just really needed her to pull me out the classroom and ask what's wrong. Sometimes, like, we feel that we have to hide our emotions and pretend like everything's okay, but it's okay to not be okay. And my teacher understood that, and she saw that I was just a human and that I have a personal life. So as a future teacher, I want to acknowledge that in students that they also have stressors going on at home, but that they shouldn't feel like they have to put some kind of wall up, and that they can confide in me and just feel real in my classroom. I can see myself doing this by maybe giving homework extensions, or just letting them go outside the class for a breather. I really do want to advocate mental health, especially since I feel like in the 21st century of students, mental health is being recognized more often than it was in the previous generations. On a positive note, this one's my last story. It happened my senior year of high school with my AP literature teacher, Mrs. Melby. I was working in the computer lab on a project with another student when she comes bursting in and she congratulates me on my essay. She had just finished reading it, and she stopped everything she was doing just to tell me how great it was. And this was not an essay for a scholarship or even a competition, so I was very surprised, and it gave me a lot of confidence, honestly. So I want to use a belief system that you should give credit where credit is due. I think you should constantly give affirmations to your students, especially if you see exceptional work, because it's not always that that student had always presented exceptional work. It's something that they had to develop over years, over the classroom. So that would be most rewarding for me as a teacher, is to basically teach them everything I know, but then having them successfully execute it onto assignments or portfolios. And that's personally just something I'm very excited to experience in the future classroom. Thank you for hearing my 3 stories.